And for our final segment tonight, we're joined by Anthony Gucciardi. Now, Anthony, you uncovered a very shocking video. Let's take a look at that and then come back with our comments.
This video provides just a sample of what I saw during only a few days of filming. You're looking at a lake of toxic pig feces and urine, the size of 4 football fields. That's because thousands upon thousands of pigs are inside of these buildings. Their waste falls through slats in the concrete floor, and it's flushed directly into this giant open-air cesspool.
And that article is called Drone Video Exposes Feces Lake Inside Mega U.S. Factory Farm. What was that we just saw, Anthony?
So an activist, a filmmaker, somebody that was concerned about factory farms, which we all should be, sent a drone finally after visiting a few of these farms to the largest pork manufacturer in the world, like far and far away. And they found a lake that was, to me, it looks like blood too. But he says it's just feces and urine and waste that just drains directly through a sewer system in these massive compounds where these pigs are pushed in and they have zero space and they're fed antibiotics and hormones and everything else. And they're just expelling waste and it's going into this lake. And again, I think it's also full of blood. That's speculation though. And then what happens is to clean the lake, they just shoot it in the air. So they don't have someone drain it and responsibly dispose of it, which would be bad enough, or put it in even a landfill. They just basically have a sprinkler system where they just dump it out into the air, and then the wind blows it into all these people's houses and other nearby ranches and farms and stuff, which could be organic and are being spewed with, you know, antibiotic-laden waste. And then the people are saying, hey, our houses are being spewed with all this waste, what do we do? And the pig people just say, basically, deal with it.
Yeah, close your windows is pretty much the response of it. And if you go watch the full video, you can see the very concerned people. The guy says, I can't invite my friends over. I can't let my kids play outside because these are droplets for people who don't understand. They spew it up in the sprinkler system. The wind catches it, blows it to the nearby town. And now the people in the town have to deal with this, not just the feces, but like you said, the antibiotics as well. And
I consider that just such a micro-sized portion of what's actually going on with these. Because sure, these people in their homes are being affected, maybe a few hundred people, which is absolutely terrible. But think about the millions of people that are eating this meat from the factory farms. We've seen whistleblowers come out with chicken farms from so many different ones where they come out and they say, look, we've been working for these multinational corporations that are paying us somewhat well or maybe even screwing us over. But overall, we can't keep doing it because these chickens, it's just so horrible to watch. They said they cannot keep doing it, even though they've been farming their whole lives. The chickens live, and there's videos we can surely have some clips of going on, but these chickens, they live in the scenarios where they have to, for generations, sit in their own feces, their own crap, their own urine, and they just get antibiotics as a preventative. So how you and I would go work out, let's say, as a preventative for our health, or we would take vitamins and minerals and stuff, these chickens are just given pharmaceuticals from birth, just so they don't get sick, just on the off chance. And then, you know, what do you think happens when we eat those? Right. We're eating chicken with antibiotics in it. We're drinking tap water with antibiotics in it. Is there any wonder why antibiotic-resistant bacteria is developing, and any wonder why they say like 40 million to 70 million people are going to die within the next several generations from antibiotic-resistant bacteria? It's all due to this factory farming that no one seems to be caring about until very recently.
Yeah, and that's what we need. We need the environmentalists to come out on this, also the people who are animal rights activists. Because yes, these animals are raised for the slaughter, but you can take a look at that video. You see the pens that they house them in, like you said, the female pigs who give birth, they're so fat and they're in such tight, confined space, they can't even roll over or turn around. It's very inhumane.
If you look at the average factory farm chicken, underneath it has no feathers, and it's just raw flesh, and it's all cut open and somewhat bleeding and pink and everything like that. And you say, well, why is that? Oh, it's because they have to sit down all day? No, it's because they sit down and they defecate in their space, but they have nowhere else to move. And the previous chickens have defecated in that area, so they're rolling around in feces over and over and over all day, not allowed to move, because if they move, they could burn calories, which would reduce their fat content. So they're not allowed to move at all. They're not allowed by contract to get air or fresh water, anything. By contract, they cannot have sunlight or air. Literally, not allowed to have sunlight or air or fresh air.
That is
period.
Amazing.
They can't move, they cannot have sunlight, they cannot have fresh air, and that's what you're putting in your body every time you eat Purdue or whatever garbage it is. That's the whistleblower, the main one, by the way, lately. He came from Purdue, and he said, I can't do this anymore. I don't care how much money they give me. I don't care about my contract. He invited a camera person in, and they found those chickens with just no feathers. They were just scuffed up and bleeding everywhere with feces coming into their skin and out of their skin. It's literally just a feces pit with no fresh air and no sunlight, and then they just churn them out, and that's what you eat in your body. And then we wonder why we're so sick.
Right.
And we wonder why the government is subsidizing this garbage that makes us more sick. It's a total wretched system that feeds the medical system. It's just boxes and boxes and boxes of just medical tyranny going over and over and feeding themselves. It's totally outside.
But in the meantime, if you want to sell raw milk, they'll send the SWAT team to your establishment.
Oh, yeah. No, if you sell natural supplements and, organic minerals and stuff like that, then you're really bad.
Yeah.
But you can have chickens that bathe in their own feces for their entire lifetime, and then, their great-grandchildren bathe in their feces. Think about how disgusting that is.
Oh, man.
And then you take the lake of feces that you're making and destroying the environment and put it in a sprinkler system and bathes people's homes with the feces, and that's totally permissible. And you can put mercury in the high fructose corn syrup, which the FDA doesn't care about. You can have BPA in all of the plastics, which is totally destroying the endocrine systems of everybody out there and making everyone estrogen dominant and ruining testosterone in all males. You can do all these things and you're totally fine. The FDA says BPA is great, it's amazing. Companies make $100 billion off of it as well, but hey, they look out for us, not the companies, just as they're looking out for us instead of the factory farms and letting them do all of this.
Very shocking. Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks a lot for having me.